I can't believe we spent so little money for 5 of us to visit Puerto Rico. So if you're cruising on a budget, find out how 5 of us spent only this much money here in San Juan, Puerto Rico. All right, this is our third time visiting Puerto Rico, and we had some tips for you. Now, before we get into exactly what we did, let's let you know how we started our day. And we'll let Mrs. Tips tell you about that.
So one thing you have to be aware of is on Freedom of the Seas, I'm going to get the ship right, there's only one gangway down. So it gets congested for like 30 minutes. So as soon as they get the all clear, everyone rushes down there. So wait 30 minutes, and even the staff said that. They're like, just don't bother, just wait. And we did, and it was awesome. We got off very smoothly without having to rush.
And because Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, if you have a U.S. cell phone plan, you can turn your phone off airplane mode and use normal data. So go ahead, make your phone calls, check email, check Facebook, or take a really cool photo and post it on Instagram.
We would, if we had Instagram, we might post on Instagram, but we don't have Instagram.
No, we don't. But we have some cool photos, which we took at the fort. And we didn't even need Google Maps. Usually when we go to a new place, well, this is a new place, we would download Google Maps. But because it's a U.S. territory, we can use our cell phones. You can put it in the Google, or you can simply just look up on the hill and you can see the big old fort, and you can just walk right there.
Yes, as you're coming into port, and they do recommend to watch on the
Port side.
port side because it is quite beautiful coming in, and you can see a great shot of the fort. You simply walk up the hill. As soon as you get off the pier, you just go up the hill, and there's a bunch of signs and stuff. Super easy to find. The only problem would be if you had mobility problems getting, because it is uphill, but there are ramps and things at the top to get through the fort. So if you can get yourself a taxi or something if you need to. Otherwise, it's not a strenuous walk. For reference, we had a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and we'll say a grandma with us, and we all made it just fine.
Yeah, it was warm, but you get distracted by some of the cool little shops. So we snuck into one of the shops in the nice air conditioning. We looked around, and we even got one souvenir for the wife.
It was a replacement.
Yes, it was a replacement. And then we just continued our way. So we walked about 10 minutes, took a break in air conditioning, and walked another 10 minutes. And then we only spent, how much was that fort again?
A whopping $30. It's $10 per person, and the kids were free.
Who doesn't like free? We are sailing on Freedom of the Seas. Kids sail free and they enter free, and it's good for 2 days. So if you happen to be here embarking on your Royal Caribbean or other cruise line port, you can come here early, which you're going to get there a day early because you're going to listen to what we recommend, and you could visit 2 days at the forts. We actually only visited one fort. What did we get to see?
So it's a bunch of obviously walking on top and kind of seeing city views, and you can see a great shots of the ocean and things like that. But it had a bunch of really intricate tunnels that led underground to connecting different places and where they slept and things like that. It was actually really interesting, and the kids had a blast just wandering around and just looking at everything.
Especially the iguanas. The kids love the iguanas.
They're everywhere.
But yeah, I thought some of the coolest things was reading the little placards, overlooking the water, which was just
pretty.
stunning and beautiful. And then you get to overlook San Juan as well. So that was very pretty. But we spent about close to 90 minutes up there by the time you go in through there. And we even looked in the shop and looked for souvenirs in the shop. But, bottle of water being like $3.35 and Gatorade $4 and some change, we decided not to do that because on our way there, you literally walk right next to a Walgreens that is right across the street from where you port.
So if you forgot something, ran out of something, need to pick up something at the last minute, or want snacks or something, or restocking on drinks, that Walgreens is literally right there. It is very busy, so make sure that you're just patient. The lines get long, but pro tip, if you want like Puerto Rican coffee, they sell it at some of the tourist places, but it's marked up so ridiculously high. You can get the same stuff from Walgreens. It sounds a little silly, but it's the authentic coffee, and it's there, and it's a lot cheaper.
A third of the price. It was $15 plus in the shop at the port, and it was $5 and some change at Walgreens. The only downside about going to Walgreens is that there's about a 15 to 20-minute line, and literally the 2 previous times we've been here, the line was long as well. They would make a lot more money if they would simply add a couple more registers.
Regardless, if one of you can stay and one of you can go ahead and go, that's fine. That's what we did. I took the kids back. He stood in line and got the coffee. And
Yeah.
it worked out just fine.
Yeah, so if you're going to Walgreens, just one of you get in line right away, the other
Yeah.
person get what you need, and then get out. Do that on the way back. Now, when you get back on the ship, you're going to need your driver's license if you're over 18
Yes.
and your CPAS card. But it was really easy to get back on because for 2 reasons. One, we spent about 2.5 hours. So getting way down was at 8:30. We got off at 9 because we wanted to wait 30 minutes and let the Russia people leave, including all the shore excursions. And then we simply boarded back around 12:30. So only about 2.5 hours.
And that's really was plenty. And if you think about it, and if you've done any research at all, you know a lot of the excursions are at the minimum that, if not more. And we have done an excursion before where it was someone picked you up, took you to the fort and back. I don't remember how much it was, but we did the same thing on our own. So
Yeah, I know this was 2019, and it was at least $60 a person, and we spent $30 total, not including what we spent in Walgreens and your little bracelet that we got. So if you want to cruise on a budget and you want to know how we got Freedom of the Seas for so cheap, make sure you watch this video right here. I'm Brian.
Mrs. Tibbs.
Tips for cruisers.